Ordinance number 2017-03 of the City of Lake Worth, Florida, setting salaries and other benefits for the mayor and commissioners of the city, providing for severability, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, including ordinance number 2012-33, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Madam Mayor, I'm sorry, I'm doing cards at the same time here. We had some handouts. Lauren, do you have those? Thank you. I know that this is a topic that's probably not one of the easier ones to grapple with as the elected officials, but this is something that I wanted to bring to you as the commission, and along with the other issues that we're trying to change about the city of Lake Worth. One of the things that's been talked about over the years is the remuneration of the elected officials for the job they do. And, you know, Mayor, you just hinted to it. When you offer yourself up to go through the process of becoming an elected official representing a community, and in a community like Lake Worth, you're probably, at the time you're doing the campaigning, a little bit ignorant about what it actually takes once you take that oath of office after winning. And there's a tremendous amount of difficulties and the rigors of this job that, as city manager, I get to see on a up close and personal basis. I see what it takes to be a city official. And there's a tremendous amount of responsibilities and duties that's placed upon you to represent the people who elect you in this community, to serve on this board of directors. And in many ways, you know, people like to equate government as some kind of simple business where you guys sit here and just make these decisions. And it's more akin to serving on a board of directors of a major corporation like a General Electric, where you have multiple businesses underneath you, and you have to know how all those businesses function. And it's a very difficult set of things to learn, and it's something that you have to immerse yourself in fairly quickly. You have to swear to uphold the laws that you are under, both at the national, the state, and local level. You have to learn finances and financial accounting systems. You have to deal with some very complex issues, and you deal with many funds in this city, those businesses that we just talked about, and they all have different accounting principles. The different operations have regulations. One of the most intensely regulated operations in this country is an electric utility. And y'all have to have some sense of how that works because you're setting forth the policies, how that operates. You delve into dealing with the laws and the codes that are part of this jurisdiction. This group here has changed over 50 local laws. And that's not an easy task because they always have unintended consequences, and you want to be able to do a law. We just passed a law regarding sales of alcohol in convenience stores. You know, there's a myriad of things that you have under your jurisdictional authority to do something about or not do something about, and that weighs on your shoulders, that you bear that responsibility. You've got to develop a sense of business strategy for how these different operations work, and whether we're talking about how the beach functions and balances, or the future of the electric utility, and we're talking about possibly building a new power plant. That takes a lot of time, effort, and energy on your part. And again, it comes down to the 5 of you in this organization. You deal on the federal level, you deal on the state level, you deal with the county commissions on a myriad of different issues, both during session and also in times when we're not in legislative sessions. And it ranges from dealing with issues regarding FEMA, that's one of the most high-profile ones we're dealing with, to trying to get some money from the state legislature for infrastructure. Those are important things, and you have to know what you're doing. You belong to associations and memberships so that you can continue to hone your skills and your knowledge base. You invest a lot of time in going to meetings. We watched a 10-minute webinar today. There's just a constant stream of best practices and things happening across this country that you guys research and go to meetings and learn about, to stay on top of your game so that you can represent well. You serve on boards and committees. You give the reports at the beginning of the meeting. It's a very diverse set of reports from different perspectives of different things that are happening, but ranging from Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council down to an individual board meeting. And let's not forget the constituent services. I can tell you that the city commissioners, the mayor in this city, have a passion for making sure that the people that do business in the city, the people that live in this city, the people that try to get things done are represented, that their concerns are addressed, and you spend a tremendous amount of time taking calls and emails and letters and visits from constituents constantly. I know because I hear about them. But it is a tremendous amount of time, and you can't go to the grocery store or to any place without someone coming up to you and going, hey, it's good to see you, but I have a problem with this. How many times have you had that? And that's what you do. I mean, you do it because you want to. All these things I just mentioned occupy a tremendous amount of time, and somehow you're supposed to do all that under the scrutiny of the press and the white-hot spotlight of all the ethics rules that you have to deal with, and the Sunshine Law. Let's not forget those factors. Those are things that you step up to the plate, and you accept, and you do your job, and you do it willingly. And oh, by the way, this is just part of your life, because most of you also have another job, and a life, and a family, and things that you do as normal citizens. So, looking at what this city pays you, it's not a factor whether or not you should be paid. I think that's not even the issue here. It's what's fair for the amount of time, effort, and energy for this city. And it's not even you as individuals. Let's be very clear. This is about the positions. The people that came before you, honestly, got a raw deal in many ways because of what the city offers you. And the people coming after you, for that sense of stability and fairness so that people can deal with the things that we're grappling with, need to be fairly treated. And that's really how I'm approaching this and bringing this to you. So I've given out some information, and I don't know if we have extra copies.
I gave you the whole stack tonight.
Okay. Well,
Melissa's got it.
A few more.
is it on the computer? You made some more?
There's more now.
Yeah, these are the ones here, the comparables for the cities in Palm Beach County. And what we did was we took the population numbers for some of the similar cities or cities that are closer to us within this marketplace. And it's hard to compare just by population and size of a city because it's kind of all over the place. For example, Boynton Beach has almost double our population, whereas Palm Beach Gardens is just a little bit more. But we're generally kind of perceived as being sort of in the same class of city. I stuck West Palm down there because it is the largest city in the county. They're about 3 times our size. If you look at the number of advisory boards, we have some of the highest numbers with 16. If you look at the total budget of the cities that we compare in this class, we're not as large, obviously, as the West Palm, but we're at $171 million. We're on the upper end of the range of the amount of money that you're responsible and have a fiduciary responsibility over. You deal with 20 different funds and operations in this city, which is the most of any of the cities on this list, with the exception of West Palm. Staffing level is a little lower, but remember some of these cities have their own police and fire departments. Unions, they all have unions, with the exception of Royal Palm. We have 3 that we deal with. One of the things that's interesting is of all the cities having water utilities and solid waste utilities, we also have the burden of dealing with an electric utility that is extremely complex and difficult. So none of the other cities really compare with that operation. And if you look down at the salary levels for these positions, right now, comparatively speaking, for the cities like in Palm Beach Gardens, which is at $29,000, The mayor makes $15,000 a year. So what we're proposing is to try to position, and looking at all these numbers, as something that we would think would be fair compensation for the amount of responsibilities that you receive. And what we're proposing is going to here it is. Increase the commissioner's annual salary to $24,500 and the mayor at $29,500. We include a car allowance and a participation in a 401 retirement at 10% of salary. That's what we're recommending to you as staff, as what we think is a fair compensation as best as possible, looking at the other cities, looking at the responsibilities that you bear. And it's something that, again, you can't look at people in positions, you need to look at the positions for this city and its level of complexity. So with that, Madam Mayor and Commissioners, that's my recommendation to you.
It's almost an impossible subject to talk about from us, we're sitting up here. I mean, it's very difficult. We know what we go through, and we can sit here and tell you the stories or not tell you the stories, and know that what we've encountered and the time we've taken and the things that have happened. You know, it's a challenge, and I think looking at it too from the different funds that we oversee and learning all of those different things. We are unique in that we are overseeing electric and water and waste and everything else. But I'm just going to open it up. I think that I'd like to hear from the public on this one. I'll entertain a motion, and then we'll call public comment until we have a motion and a second.
So moved.
Do I have a second? I can't go to public comment.
Second.
Second, thank you. Public comment. This is from Teresa Miller. My suggestion is forget a pay raise. Go for hourly compensation. This suggestion is limited to the electeds who go far, far beyond the job description by meeting with constituents and solving your problems, spending hours scrutinizing every line of the budget, participating in neighborhood crime walks, showing up at neighborhood cleanups to get dirty and sweaty, attending as many community functions as your calendar allows, traveling to Tallahassee or Washington, D.C. to lobby for funds, representing Lake Worth at organizations such as League of Cities. Get paid by the hour, and I bet you still won't make up for the losses to your businesses. Thank you to the commissioners who go above and beyond their description and do it on an hourly wage that probably doesn't meet minimum wage requirements. Okay, this is from Michelle Sylvester. Greetings, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. As downtown Lake Worth business owners who happen to live outside the city limits, we are acutely aware of the many demands and duties that Commission undertakes. We also understand the city of Lake Worth is unique to many surrounding municipalities in that our Commission is also tasked with overseeing the water, sewer, and electric. We agree that a compensation adjustment is called for to more closely reach par with other local community municipalities while recognizing the additional responsibilities bestowed upon our elected city officials. In my peer review of municipalities, Town of Jupiter's mayor earns 22, council members 18.6, while Boynton Beach's mayor earns 18.8 and commissioners 15.6. Jupiter mirrors Lake Worth, a bit larger in size, but has a large water plant. That being said, I believe the proposed salary adjustments are a bit of a reach. As a salary adjustment of additional $7,000 for both the mayors and commissions, and for the inclusion into the 401k retirement plans. These adjustments will help compensate citizens who make the sacrifices to serve the city and reward their commitments. Peggy Fisher, followed by Marty Wellfeld.
Peggy Fisher, 508 North A Street. I do think an increase is merited. When you look at percentages, it's a little hard for the average working folk who maybe gets 4% a year, or someone who might work for the state who gets maybe a 5% raise in 1 in 10 years. I agree with Ms. Miller in her comments about the dedication of some who go above and beyond, and I think if you do vote yourself a pay raise, it should also be with a commitment to never have a resident of this city here, I'm not paid enough to participate in that. I don't think that should ever come out of your mouth if you vote for a pay raise. And I think you are more than entitled to an increase in pay. It's been a number of years, 12 years? So I do think the large 70 or 90% increase, depending on what position, might be a reach, but that's for you all to decide. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty, well done.
I did a little research, not an awful lot, just a little, and it tells me that I believe the last time the Dias had a increase was like 2004, 12 years ago. The conclusion I draw from that is that the system has failed those who we look to take care of the system for us. It's ridiculous. You know, I used to run a moderate staff, about 140 people, and I can't imagine anybody who was either in my position or up above me or down below me on the corporate scale providing the amount of time, commitment, angst, aggravation, research, love, all of the emotions and mental gymnastics that are necessary for you to fulfill your duties to the city for the amount of money that you do. It's a part-time job that, if you do it right, is a full-time commitment and you're getting part-time pay. And I think the legal term for that is, that sucks. Let's do it.
Richard Garcia?
Richard Garcia, South Palm. I want to, what Marty said, all of that. And what Peggy said too. You know, if you're voting for a raise for yourselves, the commitment and your comments about it's not enough money to do the job need to just go away. Personally, I don't feel it's enough. I know it's a big raise because it's been 12 years and it's really a true up maybe 5 years ago. But many of you have businesses, you all have businesses, right? And I know that your businesses suffer. The two of you can't get away from it, considering now that you moved downtown. You're out there, you're in the public light, you can't walk into the supermarket, people walk into your shop all the time and start giving you all kinds of stuff, and the vice mayor as well. I think that it really needs to be more. So don't be shy about saying yes to this, because for the work you do deserve it. You do commit yourselves to taking care of us. And don't worry about the political aspects of it. Vote yourselves a raise, take care of yourselves at home.
Any more comment cards?
I would like to,
Yes, there's one coming right now. Hurry, Tansy.
Tammy Panza, come on down, I see that blue card.
oh my God, you know my name.
I can fill it in.
Saul Herman's pen.
Hi, I would like to say that you guys deserve everything that you're asking for. I just want to have a little bit of concern because we have had a raised issue with city employees over the last year or so. And I'd like to say that you deserve everything you can, but I'd like to say that also some restraint should be shown with respect to that issue. So, thank you.
Commissioner Point?
It is an awkward issue, I agree, and although sometimes folks in the community perceive things in different ways because of the different situations that different commissioners have in their other life, I would wager that every single person who's ever served as a commissioner in Lake Worth takes it pretty seriously. They're pretty engaged. Their phone rings a lot at all sorts of different hours, or their emails fill up, or they get, some people even get snail mail. That happens too. And we, I think, are all probably deal with it the same way that I do. When people call, we don't ask, what district are you in? We sometimes don't even ask if you're in Lake Worth. Sometimes it comes out that they're not, but I'm sure we've all had some calls on that. But we try to be helpful because we're elected officials, and we, I think, feel that responsibility to be responsive to the community, and that's why we do it. That said, I don't see that our duties have changed particularly substantially. Yes, there are a number of things that we have to pay attention to. I don't see that our duties have changed a lot, and I would echo a little bit of what Ms. Panza raised. Our employees still, particularly if you look both at salary and at pensions, I think there's still some issues there that we have not resolved. We've had some issues over the last year or two with how we dealt with upper management salary changes versus rank and file worker changes. And I think we have work to do in that area that might perhaps be done first, better be done first before we vote ourselves raises. So at this point, I can't support it, so I guess I'm voting against my own interests. But that's where my position will lie.
Okay. I think that we've done a lot to reconcile. In fact, until we got here, the employees hadn't had raises in 8 years. They've consistently had raises since, and I wouldn't even think about considering a raise for any of us until our employees are taken care of. And we know now that we've readjusted, we've regrouped, we've taken care of them, and we're going to continue to take care of them. We also have a comp and class survey that's going to be done soon, which should have been done. We were expecting that back in Mark Farrington days in 2012, and that comp and class survey is going to adjust all the salaries based on what other people are making in different cities, so that the salaries are adjusted to be the right salary for the right position, so that we can bring in and retain employees at the right level, so that people don't go elsewhere. They don't come to Lake Worth as a last resort. They come here as a first choice for a good career, a solid career where they're taken care of and they're compensated the right way and with the right amount of money, and that we take care of our people as an organization. That's a restructure that we have done in the last few years that was crucial for me in turning this organization around. It's always taking care of our people first, and making sure that our residents and our staff, and creating a real team. When I look around our organization right now, and many of the newer faces and some of the older faces that really stepped up and took very big steps, I'm so proud to be leading this organization now and see the type of quality work that comes out of it, and all the new and older faces that have stepped up and made a change. I would never ever consider this at all. I could tell you my personal stories and my personal struggles in doing this job, because I want it to be a full-time job, and I have another full-time job. And I know that everybody that's ever stood up here, has been the kiss of death for them to even mention getting a raise for them. This is sort of like comp and class, if you look at it in regards to when we look at what officers are making, or officials are making in certain positions in other cities, and we're going to bring them up to the standard or a decent quality of living. It's never going to be for the work that we do. What we do, we give that because we choose to be public servants. And it's never going to be the quality, or as someone mentioned in one of those cards, an hourly amount. We do this because we love our community. And with that comment that was made in regards to our staff, it has been and will always be my main goal to make sure that our staff is taken care of, and that we are living up to our promises, because people that want to work here, they're good team players, and they stay a long time, and they take care of our residents and businesses. So that's all I wanted to say, Commissioner Marcy.
And I agree with the mayor 100%. And my office sits across from the mayor. And I know what I do. And if you don't know what I do, you heard some of it, and I bust my butt for the people of this city, and I'm happy to do it. And I sit across from the mayor's office, and she has piles and piles, everything that comes from this dais in this city, she signs off on. And 99% of the people that come to City Hall, they want to see the mayor. They don't want to see anyone else, whether the mayor can help them or not. Half of them don't need to go to the mayor, but they want to see the mayor because she is the mayor. So to say our job description hasn't changed, I think it changes with the personality of the person that's sitting in the seat and the ability to give the time. I too run a full-time business, but I find the time to travel. And if you remember a couple years ago, we got beat up, and both myself and the vice mayor got beat up a little bit about traveling. But I can tell you the voters came to me and said, I want you to travel. I want you to go see what other cities are doing. I want you to go to see what's happening out there and bring it back and implement it. And that's exactly what some of us do. So I can tell you that, you know, we go above and beyond, and we're happy to do it. And we'll continue to do it. But the job description does change, and it changes with the person that's holding the position.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, I don't mean to cause any offense. I did want to seek one clarification, because I think I heard you say, Mayor, that we were going to do a comp, and I always forget the name, comp and
Class.
class study, and then I believe I heard you say, and this would adjust the salaries to all the employees and bring them up to, you know, the appropriate comparison to other cities. I would be very careful of raising expectations. To do a study and be aware of what other cities are paying and what we pay and how that compares is one thing. To adjust our salaries to compare is a budget process, and doing the study doesn't necessarily, that's going to be a challenge for us to look at our budget and decide, can we do that, will we do that? I think it's unfair to employees to imply that if we do the survey, their salaries are automatically going to get fixed. And that's kind of what I heard, and I suspect you just were speaking quickly and didn't really want to give that impression. That's a two-step process. Yes, we asked for that comp and class study a number of years ago. I think we are unanimous up here as commissioners of being unhappy that we've not received it for a number of years. But please do not understand that simply by having the study, that automatically is going to make our salaries, or the employees' salaries fixed. That's a separate process that we'll have to go through. So we have not yet done that, and we don't have the tools to even do it yet. So.
We're going to use that information to make sure that we're up to par with other communities, and we're going to take care of our employees. That's all I meant. All right, we've got a motion on the floor in a second. Any more public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing that there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. Thank you very much.